I believe that we should be providing education to anybody who wants to show up. Everybody has something within them that can be brought out.
We're not just looking at bringing students into the college campus, but we're also looking about how we can make them succeed, not only at the college, but in life.
You should be able to have the chance to show what you know in the best way possible.
Everybody has a right to come to school. Everybody has a right to come to college.
Los Angeles City College is an urban oasis. Proudly serving our students and community, LACC is an institution grounded in academic excellence. Los Angeles City College is one of the most diverse campuses in the county that allows us to serve students with disability. Striving towards excellence and inclusion, Los Angeles City College supports its Office of Special Services.
Hello, I'm Dr. Anderson. I'm Dean of Student Services and Special Programs. I'd like to welcome you to the Office of Special Services at Los Angeles City College. The Office of Special Services is really the only department on campus that is dedicated to serving students who either have or think that they have a disability. Part of our mission is to empower you so that you can sit in your classes and get on with your life in terms of your career objectives, transferring to another university. This office is actually here for you.
My name is Karen Romero. My disability is juvenile rheumatoid arthritis, and I was diagnosed at the age of 1.5, so I've had arthritis throughout my whole life.
My name is Diana Carrillo. I struggled with my writing, and I had really bad anxiety with math.
I have retinitis pigmentosa. Basically, the cells in the eyes that take in the light and can distinguish color and all that, they're just dying off. I should be going blind in like 10 to 40 years.
I have problems with reading and spelling, and I get nervous when I feel rushed.
I didn't know about my disability until maybe a few years into college. I struggled with math. I never came to terms to think about what was wrong. I just went ahead and said, yeah, I'm not getting math, I'm not getting math.
I was born completely blind, and I started to see in my left eye when I was a few months old.
Occasionally we'll get questions about who has a disability or what disabilities we serve, and my response is any disability. You can start anywhere with a learning disability, speech and language disabilities. Students are deaf or hard of hearing. A student who has physical or mobility issues. Students who are blind or have low vision. Students who have attention deficit disorder. If you're a student, you have some of these issues going on, or if you've always struggled in certain academic subjects, then really it's great for them to come over and say, hey, this is where I'm at, this is where I'm struggling. What do you think?
A lot of our students have what sometimes are called invisible disabilities. You really can't tell what the disability is by speaking to them. Usually what I tell students and faculty is that someone with a learning disability is average or higher intelligence, but they have difficulty in one or more area.
If you learn in a particular way, if one of your modalities is much stronger than another, it can be difficult in school.
It usually is somebody that does great in all their English classes, they're a good writer, but when they get to math, they hit a wall.
In the past, I have had students who come to me who are very perplexed, who say, there's something about this I don't get. They seem to be knowledgeable in class. Their performances on quizzes and exams do not show that knowledge.
There are some students who need some accommodation, but they are nervous or hesitant.
When I first started at Los Angeles City College, I was very timid, I was shy.
My disability is not something I like to talk about.
I encourage them to get the help. I tell them, no, it's an accommodation. It's not to stigmatize you.
And so I point out, this is not a case of you are different, you are special in a way that many other people are. And if you want the accommodation, we have it for you, and it levels the playing field. That's the term that usually gets them hooked.
Once a student comes over to OSS, we have a really great intake process.
We ask the student to fill out application for Office of Special Services, and they make an appointment for an intake screening.
We have to verify that a student has a disability. One of the ways that that's done is to get information or documentation from an appropriate professional. That's a medical person, a psychologist, a speech pathologist. Some students come in and say, you know, I don't know what's wrong, I've just got some issues.
We get verification of their disability, and we begin to assess what their accommodation needs may be. How do we help students inside and outside the classrooms?
We strive for that concept of universal design.
Universal design really has to do with access for anyone, whether you have a disability or not. In terms of physical access, it's being able to get into a building, it's being able to have a chair that you can use and not having to ask for a special chair. It's not having to ask for a special table because you happen to be in a wheelchair.
What's fair? Is fair everybody getting the same thing? I don't think so. I think fair is the idea that people get what they need and people don't need the same thing.
Something might work for some students, something might not work for another student.
We look at each person as an individual and figure out what works for that person. For example, maybe you need to tape record your lecture. Maybe you need to sit in front of the class. You need to have priority seating.
With that, I would be able to seat in a location which is in front of the classroom, closest to the door, made it a lot easier so when people get out, I don't get tumbled down with everybody trying to get out.
If you're a slow processor, you have a little difficulty reading, you have spatial difficulties, you might need extra time to take your exams, and we'll arrange to have your tests taken here so you can take it in a relatively quiet environment.
There's only 10 minutes left in the test and you're still not halfway through it and you're rushing and you're seeing all these other kids leave quicker than you. It just takes me a little longer to do things, and this place provides that for me.
Somebody who has an attention deficit might get very disturbed by a sound or a movement next to them. It could be somebody fiddling with papers. It could be somebody's cell phone going off, even on vibrate. It can be someone talking in the next room, or tapping with their pen, or tapping their foot. It can be anything.
My name is Alfredo Quispe. I'm the Senior Sign Language Interpreter Coordinator for here at Los Angeles City College. My responsibilities are to provide sign language interpreter services to all deaf and hard of hearing students. We provide simultaneous communication between the deaf and hard of hearing student when the teacher is lecturing.
They give you the tools to use on your own to become independent so you don't have to completely rely on people. I can use the big CCTVs they have there, which is really helpful. I can set it to a reverse contrast, zoom in as big as I need.
Some of our students are in the tutoring center. Our tutors are trained to work with students who have disabilities.
My tutors were really helpful in terms of accommodating me. They actually wrote really big and really clear, and they actually tried to find the best way to work with me so I could understand them.
Through this program here, I did use one of the tutors for math. He dedicated his time and found different ways to show me how to grasp the different problems. There were times where I was ready to give up, and because of my tutor, he would not let me give up and say, let's do one more problem.
We never ever ask an instructor to lower their academic standards.
So this isn't about something special anymore. It's really about leveling the playing field. And that's what we're trying to do with our students here. This is the high-tech center in the Office of Special Services.
The High-Tech Center is another way that we accommodate students. It has a variety of computers and software programs that help students make up for whatever functional limitations they may have.
My name is Cheryl Morrison. I'm the Assistive Technology Specialist in High-Tech Center. I assist them in learning the assistive technology.
For our blind students, we have programs like JAWS, where it reads the text out loud.
So I'm just bringing up JAWS. So from here, we can then go through all the menus.
Start menu, Internet, 1 of 1. To navigate, press up or down arrow, run ...
Or for students who are visually impaired, we have zoom text, which blows up the size of the letters.
As you can see, we can get up to 6 times zoom right here. Another good feature is it actually allows us to change the color. Some students actually work better if the color is inverted, and a program like zoom text allows us to make those changes.
We also have Read and Write Gold for students who are learning disabled, who need to hear the text read to them.
Los Angeles City College apply online register for classes.
The e-text reader, I just copy and paste text to a field when it can read it.
It arrives at the surface of the earth, whether or not it is reflected.
I also convert student textbooks into Braille. I take a student's textbook and I convert it into a Braille format, and then I print out their textbooks. This is one chapter.
My major part of my job is to provide e-text service to our students. Basically, we take the books and fit it into a high-speed scanner and scan the books into a graphic format, and then we can use the OCR software to get the text out from the image.
One of the obstacles that I had was having to carry a heavy load of books in my backpack. This is where I get them in CD or MP3 format, which makes it a lot easier.
In addition, we have a class called Learning Skills 43. It's adaptive computer technology, and they can come in, and if they don't know how to type, we have typing software for students that are sighted as well as those who are visually impaired. If they already know how to type, we teach the visually impaired students how to navigate the internet and also Word documents using JAWS and shortcut keys.
This is our homepage. It has our mission statement and our regular information as far as our address, our phone number, and our hours. These are our types of special services that are offered.
I really encourage faculty to go onto the web page, take a look at the faculty handbook, because it'll answer a lot of questions that you may have.
Many of our students, when they're receiving their accommodations like extra time, do extremely well.
Back in my high school days, my academic achievements were C, C-. By using OSS, I got to the A department.
One of my students just got into UC Berkeley, and she brought me this cup, which I treasure.
I'm a better reader now, better speller.
One of our students was born in Mexico, and when he first came here, he was in ESL 1. He didn't speak any English at all, and he was completely blind. And now he has his master's degree.
It's actually been a great help to my development as an individual.
My academic life has gone from I completely failed high school because I just didn't have the resources available to me to my first semester here, I got all A's except for 1 B and 1 C.
We have a student who was deaf and blind, and she recently graduated last year.
After finishing 2 years at LACC, I transferred over to Cal State Northridge, and after 2 years in the cinema and television program, I graduated, and I'm currently working in my field.
With the help of accommodations and just the help with the counselors and Department of Rehabilitation, I then made myself active in campus. I became director of student body government. I was an advocate for the students with disabilities, so I was the student body president.
What we try to provide here in this program are a set of skills that they can use to get on with whatever it is they're doing in education. You have to be able to take responsibility for what you want to do and where you want to go in life.
Because there are a lot of tools, there are a lot of strategies, there is a lot of help that we can provide to those students to be successful in their educational career and in their life.
If you're willing to work, if you're willing to open your mind up, to try these other ways of doing things, you're going to be a success.